So in my travels, oftentimes I get to meet very interesting people. Few months ago, I was in one of a smaller interior village, and I was meeting with one elderly woman. And as she came and we started talking, I also saw a young son of her. He was standing close to him, and a very bright child. And as I was talking to her, she told me a story about this child. She said when this boy was born, he was mentally challenged, a special need kid. And oftentimes he really had a lot of issues, you know, adapting and getting adjusted with the school system because many of the students out there were not willing to become friends with him. So it was hard for him, but the mother always looked at this and heard what was going through his son. She was often discouraged. This was her third son, and the other two boys were healthy and had a lot of friends, but she kept believing. She kept believing that God had a plan for this child. Although in that moment it almost looked like, it was difficult, challenging, and a problem. The other day I was reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verses 11 to 13. There's a very powerful scripture there where Jesus talks, about nothing to be wasted. What happened before was there was a large crowd of people who had come, and Jesus had fed them with 5 loaves and 2 fish. A large crowds were fed. After they were fed, Jesus is talking to his disciples and saying, pick up the leftovers. Let nothing go waste. Very interesting. Jesus is really concerned about the things that we waste. Those were the broken pieces. The people had eaten, they were full, now they didn't need it anymore. But Jesus is asking the disciples. I think what he meant was these broken leftover pieces were not the one that should be wasted, or they were not something that were of no need. At that moment it almost looked like. But these pieces were something which God had done something powerful, miracle. The 5 loaves of bread he broke, and he fed a large crowd of people. So these broken pieces actually talked about God's greatness, God's goodness, and his power, which oftentimes we ignore. We look at those brokenness in our lives, the messiness of our lives, the leftover ones, the discarded one, the one that are not picked up. Oftentimes in the school playground, those kids who are not picked up, those who do not make in the first list of those best, achieving kids. Or oftentimes in our workplace, we don't feel really appreciated. All those times when we feel that we are the leftovers or the broken ones. Jesus is saying a very interesting thing. Do not let those things go waste. These disciples gathered all these broken pieces, and they were almost 12 baskets full of that. This elderly woman was saying later that she kept praying, she kept believing, and she knew this was not a broken child. This was a powerful gift of God. And one day God did touch this boy, and as I was talking to her, and my eyes fell on this boy, and I could see how good looking, how sharp, and powerful miracle God had done in his life. Let me encourage you today. You may be going through this season where you might be feeling rejected, some discouragement. The situation in your life may be saying that I'm not enough. I'm broken. My past sins are so heavy on me. Today I want to encourage you. Jesus says, let nothing go waste. Our brokenness, our wounds, he can use it and bring things beautiful out of those moments. May God bless you.